Hi, it's Carleen here from Gut Health Nutrition. I wanted to share with you today something a little bit different, particularly medicinal food to put into my cooking, and therefore I get to experiment with these things and use them at different times of the year, different times in life to actually help enhance your health. So I wanted to share some of those favorites with you today. This is a mushroom and it's white and it's called white fungus. It just looks like a beautiful cloud and it goes into a soup or a casserole so easily, and it puffs out and becomes almost gel-like, and it creates so much nutrition in that particular soup. You can consume it, and it's considered the beauty mushroom. But tremella is very good for your immune system, and it's very good for collagen as well. So it's the answer to collagen for vegans. It's deeply nourishing and hydrating in the system, and so it helps keep all your mucous membranes nice and soft and hydrated. I use it for seasonal fatigue, and so it always goes into a restorative soup in my family, especially if someone's got a cough or a cold or they're particularly run down. But it's something, because it's so good for beauty, it'd be something to include in every single broth. So I've always got white fungus on hand. On the opposite end of the scale, I've always got black fungus on hand, and the one I choose to buy is the one that's already shredded, although black fungus comes in all different shapes and sizes, and it becomes like, for me, I put it in and it's like a noodle, but it's a noodle that packs a punch with regards to nutrition. So the way that I use black fungus is at the end of cooking a soup, and I add it so that it will be like a noodle texture. So black fungus is nutrient dense, and it helps people with heart conditions, especially. It helps prevent clots, but you do need to be careful because it does have blood thinning properties. So if you're on any blood thinners, you need to be careful with the consumption of black fungus. But it's rich in polysaccharides, it's rich in polyphenols, and it's got plenty of dietary fiber, but it's low calorific value. So it's not like a noodle in that it doesn't have high carbohydrates. Cordyceps flour is another one that I purchase and put into a lot of things. It's got a stringy property and it's orange. Again, it's like a noodle. Man, this is good for stamina. It's good for exercise and exercise response, inflammation, fighting inflammation, but it helps with our production of ATP, which is our energy, which is why it's so powerful for stamina, for people, for sports performance, and it actually improves your VO2 max. I mean, wow. So I use it in a lot of different soups. I'll use it in making broths, and I do consume some of the flour, but you need to be careful not to have too much if you aren't used to the prebiotic fiber. But this one is one that I use all the time because it's such a powerful modulator, especially with regards to energy and stamina. Wolfiporia mushroom. It is obviously a very big mushroom because it gets reduced down into little white squares that are hard and chalky. This one is your nervous system's best friend. It is very supportive and nurturing to the nervous system. You're supporting anxiety, especially in perimenopause, menopause mix for supporting anxiety, but it also helps with reducing fluid retention, and it helps with bloating as well. So it's great for the gut and digestion, but it's also great for when you're holding on to too much fluid. I love using Wolfiporia because it relaxes your nervous system, it supports your nervous system, it promotes sleep, it's powerfully antioxidant. Yeah, all the natural defense, and it's just little white squares that you can chuck into anything. Now, if you haven't consumed this kind of mushroom before, when you put it into a soup, you would actually discard this until you were used to the polysaccharides, etc., that's in this, and then as you continue to use it, you would start consuming some of these little squares because they pack a punch with regards to prebiotic fiber as well. So that's Wolfiporia. Look for the little white squares. Check out this one. This one's lion's mane. You can get this in a powder, you can get this in different forms, but you might as well use it as a food as well. This is very, very powerful for your brain and for brain health, for neurodegenerative diseases, for improving cognition and improving memory and brain function. It is a stimulator of nerve growth factor, so it is going to support your brain in so many ways. You would start with a very small amount, rehydrating it, using it in stir fries, using it in casseroles, using it in soups, and you want to have this every single day. So whether you would make it into a powder or buy it in a powder and get it into you every day to get those neuroprotective, neuroregeneration properties of lion's mane. One is called Rehmannia. It's a little bit harder to find and it looks like a big bit of black tar. This is the most amazing herb for perimenopause and menopause because it helps reduce hot flushes and it helps with night sweats as well. It is an adrenal and kidney tonic, so anybody with any sort of adrenal burnout, adrenal fatigue, chronic fatigue, this is a very powerful herb and one to have in your soups and stocks every time you make some up. I always pair my Rehmannia with some mandarin peel. I'm always drying out mandarin peel. Have I got any here? I usually do have mandarin peel. If people give me mandarins and I know they're organic and not sprayed, I keep the peel, I dry it, and I use it together with Rehmannia because it is a fairly thick and heavy herb, and you'll notice in your stock it makes it quite dark. And the mandarin peel brings all the oils from the peel that actually help balance the heaviness that you get from Rehmannia, and it keeps it light and it keeps you in a capacity to be able to absorb the nutrients and utilize the benefits that are in this amazing herb. What did I say? Blood, immunity, adrenal, kidney, menopause, perimenopause, any autoimmune condition, especially things like rheumatoid arthritis, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, like it absolutely so important tonic. Big black stuff, you actually don't need much, probably half of that in a big pot of soup. So a little goes a long way, and always pair it with the mandarin peel. It prevents stagnation. The mandarin peel just keeps everything moving, keeps the bile flowing, and it just helps with the absorption of all the beneficial properties of Rehmannia. Love this one. If I find it, I go a bit nuts and I'll buy several packets at once. There is so much more, and I have got so much more. Gee, I go a bit berserk sometimes when I go shopping. Sometimes I don't know what I'm buying and I have to decipher it when I get home by using a translator on my phone. I've got an app that does that. But it's always helpful to be adventurous and to have the basics there. So if you like this particular different approach to my YouTube clips and you want to know more, there's plenty more that I can share. Just let me know in the comments and give us a like and a subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.